Have you ever stopped to think about the impact of every food item that arrives on your table? The way we grow our crops and raise our animals not only shapes the landscape of our fields, but also the health of our planet and the well-being of future generations. In a world where resources seem to be depleting as quickly as our population is increasing, how can we ensure that we are not compromising the ability of our children and grandchildren to thrive? This is where sustainable agriculture comes in, proposing a revolutionary approach that challenges conventional methods and promises a more harmonious balance between nature and our immediate needs. But what does it really mean to adopt sustainable agricultural practices? And how can these practices transform not only the environment, but also the economy and society as a whole? But after all, what is sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture represents a production paradigm that transcends the mere cultivation of food and various other products, incorporating a comprehensive vision that balances immediate needs with long-term environmental and social responsibility. This approach seeks to provide solutions to the challenges of modern agriculture, which often include unsustainable practices that can deplete natural resources, degrade the environment, and destabilize communities. Sustainable agriculture is defined as an integrated system of farming practices that are ecologically sound, economically viable, and socially just. This production system is designed not only to produce food, fiber, fuel, wood, and medicinal products, but to do so in a way that is environmentally balanced, promoting the health of ecosystems rather than causing their degradation. Furthermore, it aims to sustain and strengthen local economies, providing a fair and dignified livelihood for all those involved in the agricultural production chain, from the producer to the consumer. The main objectives of sustainable agriculture are: promote environmental health. Environmental sustainability is fundamental in sustainable agriculture. This involves conserving water and soil, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, preserving biodiversity, efficiently using natural resources, and minimizing the use of harmful chemicals. Provide economic profitability. To be truly sustainable, agriculture must also be economically viable. This means that the practices adopted should not only preserve natural resources, but also be profitable for farmers. Generate social and economic equity. The social dimension of sustainable agriculture involves promoting equity and justice for all participants in the food system. This includes ensuring fair working conditions, promoting the inclusion of marginalized communities, and providing healthy and accessible food for all parts of society. Additionally, it emphasizes the need to maintain and value local and cultural knowledge, supporting rural communities and their economies. But how did sustainable agriculture originate? Sustainable agriculture emerged as a response to the environmental and social problems caused by large-scale conventional agriculture, which often relies on intensive practices such as the heavy use of synthetic chemicals and mechanization. These practices can lead to soil degradation, reduced biodiversity, water pollution, public health issues, and social imbalances. Throughout the 20th century, as these impacts became more evident, awareness of the need for a more sustainable model grew. The movement gained momentum in the 1960s and 1970s, with increasing environmental concerns culminating in more formalized approaches, including the introduction of the term sustainable agriculture in academic and policy discussions. The perception of the flaws and impacts of intensive agriculture began to intensify in the 1960s, a period marked by significant growth in global environmental awareness. Influential publications, such as Rachel Carson's Silent Spring in 1962, which detailed the devastating effects of pesticides on wildlife and human health, catalyzed public debate and a reevaluation of agricultural practices. Criticism of the conventional agricultural model was not limited to environmental impacts, but also addressed its social implications. The use of heavy machinery and land concentration contributed to rural unemployment and migration, while the dependence on expensive inputs put small farmers at an economic disadvantage. During the 1980s and 1990s, various non-governmental organizations and university extension programs began to focus on developing and promoting more sustainable production methods. Organic agriculture, regenerative agriculture, agroforestry, permaculture, natural agriculture, and biodynamic agriculture are examples of systems that were adopted and refined as viable alternatives to the conventional model. And what are the principles of sustainable agriculture? The principles of sustainable agriculture form the backbone of an agricultural system committed not only to food production, but also to environmental conservation, economic viability, and social justice. The principles of sustainable agriculture include soil health. Soil health is fundamental to the long-term sustainability of any agricultural practice. Enhancing soil fertility is not just a matter of productivity, but also of resilience. Practices such as composting, cover cropping, and crop rotation not only enrich the soil with essential nutrients, but also improve its structure, increase water retention, and foster microbial biodiversity. Soil health is an indicator of the overall health of the ecosystem. Diversity. Diversity within an agricultural system encompasses not only the crops planted, but also the associated fauna. Promoting a variety of plant and animal species helps create a more balanced ecosystem, which can better withstand pests, diseases, and extreme weather conditions. This diversity is crucial for maintaining resilience and reducing dependence on chemical inputs. Closed loops. The principle of closed loops aims to minimize waste and maximize the use of internal resources within the agricultural system. This involves techniques that recycle nutrients and organic matter, such as composting and using crop residues as fertilizers. Closing loops on the farm reduces reliance on external resources and increases sustainability. Efficient use of resources. Using water, energy, and other resources efficiently is vital in the context of increasing pressure on natural resources. This can include implementing low-waste irrigation systems, using renewable energy, and adopting conservation practices that reduce the need for energy inputs. Resilience. Building resilience involves developing systems capable of absorbing climatic and economic impacts without compromising their productive capacity. This can include crop diversification, adopting varieties more resistant to adverse conditions, and strategic planning for economic contingencies. Energy conservation and carbon reduction. Agriculture can play a significant role in mitigating climate change through practices that reduce carbon emissions and increase carbon sequestration in the soil. Such practices include pasture management, reforestation, and agroforestry systems that store carbon both above and below the soil. These principles not only guide daily practices in the fields, but also shape agricultural policies and influence consumer choices, creating a truly sustainable agricultural production system. Now that we have seen the principles of sustainable agriculture, what would be the practices of this agriculture? Sustainable agriculture practices are diverse and adaptable to different geographical and social contexts, designed to minimize environmental impact while maximizing agricultural efficiency and production. Some of these practices include crop rotation and polyculture. Crop rotation involves the sequential planting of different types of crops in the same area over several seasons or years. This practice helps prevent the depletion of specific soil nutrients, controls the proliferation of pests and diseases, and can improve soil structure. Polyculture, on the other hand, is the simultaneous cultivation of various plant species in the same area, which increases biological diversity and reduces dependence on chemical inputs while imitating the complexity of natural ecosystems. No-till farming. No-till farming is a soil management technique that avoids soil disturbance, maintaining organic cover on the surface. This helps preserve soil structure, reduce erosion, and promote a healthy environment for soil flora and fauna. No-till farming also contributes to reduced fuel consumption and lower greenhouse gas emissions. Composting and organic waste management. Composting transforms organic waste, such as food scraps and plant residues, into a rich fertilizer that can be reintegrated into the soil, enriching it with nutrients and organic matter. This practice not only improves soil health and fertility, but also reduces the need for chemical fertilizers and contributes to the sustainable nutrient cycle within a farm. Use of microorganisms. The use of beneficial microorganisms, such as nitrogen-fixing bacteria and mycorrhizal fungi, can provide several benefits to plants, including better nutrient absorption, increased resistance to biotic and abiotic stresses, and disease suppression. Seed inoculation and soil treatment with these organisms are common practices that help reduce dependence on chemical inputs. And finally, soil cover. Soil cover can be achieved through the use of cover crops, which are grown to protect and enrich the soil, or through organic mulches. These practices help conserve moisture, protect against erosion, control soil temperature, suppress weed growth, and provide habitat for beneficial microorganisms. Soil cover is also an effective strategy for carbon sequestration, helping capture CO2 from the atmosphere. At the end of this deep dive into sustainable agriculture, we have not only discovered how these practices are implemented, but also understood the monumental impact they have on our world. This knowledge is not just theoretical. It addresses the concerns many of us feel in the face of news about climate change, environmental degradation, and social injustices. Sustainable agriculture is not just an agricultural technique. It is a conscious choice that responds to our deepest concerns about justice, efficiency, and viability. It is a light at the end of the tunnel, showing that it is possible to care for our planet while caring for ourselves and others. If you care about the future and seek solutions that truly make a difference, understanding and supporting sustainable agriculture is an essential step. This path not only feeds bodies, but also nourishes souls and repairs the fabric of our communities. With every decision we make, every product we choose in the market, we are defining the legacy we will leave for future generations. Let it be a legacy of renewal, respect, and abundance. See you soon, and let's move towards a bountiful earth.